Gilgamesh, the king of the ancient Mesopotamian city of Uruk, is a ruler endowed with two-thirds divine blood and unmatched physical power. He constantly forces his citizens into grueling labor to build massive city walls and subjects the young men to brutal tests of strength, driving his people to total exhaustion. Hearing the pleas of the city, the gods craft a solution from the earth itself. They create Enkidu, a wild, hair-covered beast of a man who roams the steppes with gazelles. He is designed to be Gilgamesh's exact physical equal, the only being capable of absorbing the king's restless violence. But raw nature cannot challenge a king. A temple priestess named Shamhat is sent into the wilderness to tame Enkidu. Over 2 weeks of intense physical and emotional intimacy, she teaches him to eat bread, drink beer, and wear clothes. He gains human intellect and speech, but when he tries to return to his herd, the animals flee. He is now separated from nature forever. Shamhat tells Enkidu of Gilgamesh's tyranny, particularly his habit of interrupting weddings to claim the bride for himself. Infuriated by this abuse of power, the newly civilized Enkidu leaves the steppe and travels to the gates of Uruk to intervene. As Gilgamesh approaches a wedding house, Enkidu blocks the door. The two titans lock arms, grappling like bulls. They shatter doorposts and shake the surrounding brick walls as their brawl spills out into the city streets. After a brutal, exhausting struggle, Gilgamesh finally manages to force Enkidu to his knee. But instead of continuing the fight, the king stops. Recognizing that neither can truly overpower the other, their physical fury evaporates into deep mutual admiration. The isolated ruler finally has a companion who understands the burden of his immense strength. Yet this brotherhood does not pacify Gilgamesh. With an equal at his side, his ambition swells, pushing him to direct his silence outward toward the domain of the gods. Gilgamesh proposes a campaign to the forbidden cedar forest. His goal is to harvest the sacred timber and slay the forest's monstrous guardian, Humbaba, ensuring his name is remembered in history. Despite warnings from the city elders, the two warriors march into the mountains. They execute Humbaba and turn their axes on the ancient, towering cedars. They are harvesting building materials for Uruk, but they are also stripping a divine sanctuary bare for their own glory. When they return to Uruk victorious, the goddess Ishtar is captivated by Gilgamesh and offers to become his wife. Gilgamesh rejects her outright. He lists the gruesome fates of her previous lovers, publicly humiliating the deity of love and war. Enraged, Ishtar demands that the sky god release the bull of heaven to trample Uruk. The massive beast descends, causing earthquakes and opening chasms that swallow hundreds of men with every snort. Gilgamesh and Enkidu confront the creature. While Enkidu wrestles it by the tail, Gilgamesh drives his sword into its neck. To compound the insult, Enkidu tears off a piece of the bull's carcass and hurls it directly at Ishtar's face. The gods convene to judge these escalating transgressions. Killing the forest guardian and the divine bull, followed by assaulting a goddess, demands a toll. They decree that the heroes must pay, and they select Enkidu to suffer a rapid, withering illness. As Enkidu lies dying, he experiences a harrowing vision of the underworld. He sees the great kings and priests of the past stripped of their crowns, living in total darkness. Dust is their food, clay is their drink, and they wear garments of bird feathers. Gilgamesh watches helplessly as his perfectly matched brother turns to clay. He weeps for 7 days and nights, refusing to allow the burial until a maggot drops from Enkidu's nose. By chasing divine triumphs, Gilgamesh has forced himself to confront the one enemy his immense strength cannot bludgeon into submission, the stripped biological limit of human life. Terrified by the realization that he too will die, Gilgamesh strips off his royal garments, dresses in animal skins, and abandons Uruk. He reverts to the wild state Enkidu originated from, wandering the steppe in a desperate search to escape death. His destination is the home of Utnapishtim, a figure known as the Babylonian Noah. Utnapishtim is the only human being the gods ever granted eternal life, having survived the catastrophic global deluge centuries earlier. This gray tablet fragment preserves the story Utnapishtim tells Gilgamesh. The gods once resolved to drown the world because human noise was keeping them awake. Utnapishtim survived only because the water gods secretly instructed him to build a massive, cube-shaped ark to save the seeds of all living things. Utnapishtim springs that his immortality was a one-time gift, a rare apology from the gods for nearly destroying the world. To prove he is worthy of the same gift, Gilgamesh has passed a simple test: stay awake for 6 days and 7 nights. The moment the challenge is set, Gilgamesh falls into a deep sleep. His physical exhaustion overpowers his divine blood. He cannot even conquer the minor death of sleep, let alone biological mortality. Taking pity on him, Utnapishtim directs Gilgamesh to a thorny plant at the bottom of the ocean that restores youth. Gilgamesh retrieves it, but while he stops to bathe in a pool on the journey home, a snake slithers up and eats the plant, shedding its skin and leaving the king with nothing. Stripped of his closest friend, denied eternal life, and robbed of restored youth, Gilgamesh makes the long, quiet walk back to his city. Arriving at Uruk, he points out the city's massive brick foundations and towering defenses to his ferrymen. He examines the fired clay, the scale of the orchards, and the complex society operating within its borders. The tyrant finally understands his place in the world. He will die, but the city he built and the text recording his journey will survive him. His legacy is secured not by escaping human limits, but by embracing the work of civilization itself.